This conference will now be recorded.
I'm sharing my screen. You should be able to see my screen now.
Yeah, you can see.
Great. All right. Yesterday we have learned how to work with virtual machines, how to create virtual machines from the portal manually. And we have also learned that it's not a good practice to work directly from the portal to manage Azure resources, right? So today we are going to learn about the best practice. The best practice is to use infrastructure as code, IAC. So basically there are multiple technologies that we can leverage for IAC. One of the most common one, most important one is Terraform. We'll be writing some code today. We'll be installing some tools required to work with Terraform, and we'll also learn what is Terraform. Okay, so Terraform is a product from a company called HashiCorp. Yeah, it's not from Microsoft, it's some other company, right? So they have, I think, 6 to 7 products. 1, 2, all these 5, 9, 8 products they have for various infra related automation. One of the most common, most popular one is Terraform. So using Terraform, we can create Azure resources, we can create AWS resources, GCP, or even on-prem resources. This is very, very popular. Many people use this. Okay, so we are going to learn this first. So we will be writing some code. So I request everybody to pay attention. It's simple code, very simple code. Okay, we will first install, we'll learn what is Terraform, what are the advantages, all that, and then we'll dive into installation of components, and then we'll start writing the code to create Azure resources. Okay, all right. So we will not discuss ARM templates yet. As soon as we are done with Terraform, we'll learn ARM templates as well. But here is a quick difference between these two. ARM templates is JSON. So you need to learn JSON a bit. I will also explain simple JSON when we start working with ARM templates. Terraform uses HashiCorp configuration language. So don't worry, the name looks very complex, but it is also a kind of JSON, but it's very crisp, very simpler than JSON. I would say JSON is a little tough for some of you guys, but HashiCorp configuration language is very easy. In ARM templates, there is something called as parameters for passing values. Okay, remember we created virtual machine yesterday. We passed the name, we passed admin username, password, we entered location, we entered port numbers, we entered virtual network name, right? These are all inputs that I have typed while creating the virtual machines. And in the same way, for Terraform and ARM templates, we need to pass input values. So input values are called as parameters in ARM templates, and in Terraform they are called as variables. And here in ARM templates there is something called as variables. In Terraform they are called as local values or local variables. So don't get confused with this variables and these variables. We will understand more about these variables when we work with ARM templates. So there is something called as nested templates in ARM templates, and here it is called as modules. So basically, to modularize, if you don't understand this, I will explain this later. You need some time to understand this, and don't worry about this dependency and all. Once we complete both these, right, then we'll come back to understand these. These are some advanced things. You will not understand this because you're not worked on Terraform yet. Okay, we'll come back to this later. All right, now let's understand what is Terraform. So it's an open source tool. Terraform is an open source tool from a company called HashiCorp. Terraform can be used for provisioning. Provisioning means creating. It's simple. Managing means updating or deleting. So Terraform is an open source tool which can be used for creating or updating cloud infrastructure. Now, what is cloud infrastructure? It's nothing but servers or anything related to servers. It could be IP address. It could be network security group. It could be anything. Anything that exists in the cloud is called as infrastructure. So Terraform can be used to create and update any kind of infrastructure in the cloud. So basically, we will write code to create the infrastructure using configuration files. So configuration files are nothing but Terraform files. The extension of Terraform file will be TF. Okay, we are going to create TF files today. So it helps in automating the infra provisioning in AWS, Azure, GCP, or any other cloud, including on-prem. Terraform also allows us to preview the changes before we run it. Basically, after we write Terraform code, we need to execute it. When you execute the code will create Azure services, right? So before creating Azure services, there is a scope for us to preview the changes. What changes are going to get applied? All that information Terraform will provide. So now how do we install it? It's very simple. Installation is very simple. We need to download the software from this URL. Terraform.io is the website. Download the software from there. It's a zip file. Unzip the zip file, and you will see only one file called Terraform. There will be one executable called Terraform. Okay, and then we need to place that folder somewhere in our file system, in C drive or D drive, anywhere. Place that folder and file in some known location, and then finally configure the path. Configure the path in the environment variable called path. We will do all this now. And we also need to install Azure CLI. So Terraform depends on Azure CLI. Okay, we will install this as well. So how do we set variables, environment variables? So in the computer, go to environment variables. I will show you this. And then we will find a variable called path. Click on edit as shown here. And a pop-up comes up like this. Now add the path of the Terraform exe. That's it. These are the steps that we should take in order to have the Terraform. And finally, how do you check whether Terraform is installed properly or not? Go to command prompt, run this command, Terraform space help, or you can just say Terraform. That's also good. Okay, so let's do this. I know Vijay and others helped me, but yesterday I would like to show this to everyone now, because I also have a virtual machine created. It's plain empty VM. It doesn't have anything. All right. So first step is to download Azure CLI because Terraform is dependent on Azure CLI. So please pay attention, guys, because this is one time we'll be doing. Click on Windows. This machine is Windows, right? So you have to go there. Again in Windows, there are multiple ways. So we will choose this Microsoft installer. So I'm installing CLI. So I'm within virtual machine. So internet will be very fast here, and installation is also pretty fast. Let's go one by one. Yeah, it's done. Azure CLI is installed properly. Now let's install Terraform. So download. Yeah, this is the one. So Windows. So I think someone was asking about Linux, right? So choose Linux version of Terraform. Okay. And 64-bit. So it's a very simple zip file.
You clicked on 386 or AMD 64?
Sorry.
Did you click on 386 or AMD 64?
Yeah, 64-bit. I clicked on this. I think anything should work. I clicked on this 64-bit.
Okay, thanks.
This 32, if I'm not wrong, this is 32-bit and this is 64-bit.
Actually, instead of saying x86, it's a 386. It is it. It might be.
Sorry, 386 what?
The 386 x86, right? Normally we type x86, so it is written 386. Actually.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I downloaded this here. So let me cut this and put it into some folder where we manage all the software, right? Let me go to C drive. I would say some software, paste it here, and I'll just make it Terraform. So there is only one file. Okay, so now we need to configure path, right? So in the search box, search for environment. So if you have access, you can click on system environment variable. If you're admin here, if you're not admin, probably you can click on this. Anything should be good. So I have access, so I'm going to choose that and click on environment variables, and path is selected here. Click on edit, and here you need to say new and type the location of the Terraform file. Let me copy paste. Just folder name should be suffice. You don't need to select this exe name. Click on new. That's it. We're done. So now let me go to command prompt and say Terraform. Yep, it is giving us help. That means our command, our installation or configuration is proper. I just type Terraform and it is giving me help about all the commands of Terraform. That means configuration, installation, everything looks good. I can see some questions. Let me read them. How to install in Linux machine? Yeah, I have shown you that. Virtual machine means Azure VM or your personal VM. Yeah, VM means Azure VM. Yeah. Chaitanya is asking real time also same process. Obviously, yes. In real time also, we will have to do the same thing. So anything that is discussed here is real time only. Okay. All right. So yeah, we are done with installation, and we also need to download Visual Studio Code, right? So let me go to Google and then Visual Studio Code download. It's open source. See guys, Visual Studio is different. Visual Studio Code is different. Both are from Microsoft only, but Visual Studio Code is now open source. Initially, it was developed by Microsoft, but later it was made open source. It works in Linux everywhere. So I'm going to download Windows version. I think the same error Vijay also faced yesterday, but otherwise it is straightforward installation.
And actually, old installation was not getting removed. So I deleted the explicit files. After
Okay.
an installation, deleted the files folders explicitly, then got
Mhm.
installation.
Okay, got it. Yeah. All right. So now Visual Studio Code is also installed, right? So now I can start working with files and all. We'll come back to this. We need to learn some more things about Terraform. So we have downloaded Terraform. We have configured environment variables. We have set Terraform path, and we have also tested a simple command called Terraform. So every command will start with Terraform. Every command in Terraform will start with this keyword Terraform, and then init validate blah blah. We'll be doing all this. So now let's understand.
Praveen, did we edit the environment variable or did we add a new environment variable?
We edited the path variable.
Path, okay. We need to give the path of the Terraform variables activities. Yeah?
Exactly. We need to add our path to the existing paths in the path variable. Okay. All right. So this is we are going to learn about workflow now. The very first step is installation of Terraform, which is done. The next thing is authoring. Authoring is nothing but development of Terraform. So far, we did not do anything, but we have just installed Visual Studio Code, which will help us in authoring or development of Terraform files. We can use any tool. You can also use Notepad. You can also use Notepad++, anything. It's up to us. But Visual Studio Code has a lot of extensions. I'm using the word extensions in Visual Studio Code. We will not do anything yet. We are going to install some extensions as well. Okay, so authoring will be easy with extensions. Then these are the three things that are common. The very first step is you need to do initialization. Can you please go on mute, everybody? There's some background noise. Yeah, the first step is init. Init is a command. So this initializes the code, initializes the folder basically. By looking into our code, it does some initialization. I will explain what exactly it does when we are doing it. Once you run this init command, then we can optionally run a command called plan. Plan is optional. So plan is nothing but previewing. For example, let's say we are now going to create a virtual machine along with its components using Terraform. Yesterday we have created around 10 different services. Today also we are going to do the same thing but using Terraform. So once you complete the code, before you run it, you would like to see what all services are getting created, right? So that can be done using plan. Okay, once you are happy with all the changes, then what you can do is you can run apply. Apply is actual command which is going to run the Terraform code and submit it to Azure. Okay, so apply is the only command which will be used all the time. Init and plan are optional. Init must be done only if you are making any folder structural changes. Okay, so now apply will internally call plan all the time. Okay, there are other commands called validate, destroy. Okay, those are also optional. So yes, Arthur is asking about validate, right? So validate is nothing but it validates the code for syntactical limits. So apply will internally call validate as well. Okay, so these are the three commands that you should remember. And once you are happy with all the changes that you have done in authoring the Terraform command, you can use the same script for development environment, for testing environment, and for production environment as well. This is one of the most important advantages of using Terraform or any other IAC. So yesterday we have done, right? We have spent at least 5 to 10 minutes in creating a virtual machine, right? It's for dev environment. What about next environment testing? Again, I have to spend that 5 or 10 minutes in creating all the components for testing and production, right? Only for one service, I took 10 minutes. Think about hundreds of services, even thousands of services will be there in when you're working in real time. In one of my projects, I think I had more than 500 resources. It was 5 years back. So that was our first project. We did not know that we can automate that. So we were creating manually in multiple environments. So we used to spend lots and lots of time in creating all that. But now this IAC is very, very popular. A lot of features are there. So we can write everything. We can do everything with IAC, and you can just run the script in any environment. It will hardly take a couple of hours in case if you have many resources. Okay. So one of the most important roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer is to automate infrastructure. So how do we automate infrastructure? We automate that using IAC or Terraform. One of the technologies called Terraform. Okay. So writing the code is easy, but understanding this workflow is important. Because in interviews, people would expect you to know all this. They expect you to answer all this. Yeah, I think we discussed most of them. Init command is used to initialize the working directory, which contains the Terraform file. So if you make any folder changes, then be careful. You should also do init again. So, okay. Validate, we just discussed it. It is used to validate the configuration files syntactically. Plan, it's kind of execution plan, which will give us a preview. Apply is the actual command which will run the configuration files, and destroy, obviously it will delete it. The next thing that you need to understand is provider. Remember, we discussed Terraform can be used for any cloud, right? Or even on-prem. So what they do is Terraform guys maintain something called as provider. So for each cloud, they have a separate provider. One for Azure, one for AWS, one for GCP. So those providers are specific to cloud. Okay, so again, Azure has multiple providers. One for Azure, this is public cloud. One for Azure Stack. So Azure also supports hosting private clouds. So the product is called as Azure Stack. This is not public cloud. Azure Stack is a private cloud, but within private cloud, you are leveraging public cloud services. Some customers, financial customers, some people who are very concerned about privacy and all, and if they want to maintain their own data centers, they don't want to depend on Microsoft, but let's say Citibank says, we like Azure, we like all the features that Azure supports, but unfortunately, our compliance says all the data, all the infrastructure should be inside our own premises. In that case, they can leverage all Azure features inside their own premises. In that case, they should use Azure Stack. And finally, there is something called as Azure Active Directory, for which a separate provider must be used. So here we are going to use the first provider for Azure only. All right, let's see how to configure Terraform. We already installed Terraform and we did environment variable setup. I think we are done with that. So now the next step is to start writing the code. So before we start writing the code, let's try to understand the syntax. It's very simple. Please pay attention, guys. You see here, this particular section, this is called as block syntax. It's a block. Here we are going to create a new resource group. Okay. So everything that we create is a resource, right? Yesterday we have created virtual machine, VNet, subnet, public IP, blah, blah, blah. These are all called as resources. I think you understand that, right? So now, let me, yeah. So resource is a keyword. This is Terraform keyword, right? And then this particular thing is the type of resource. This is again Terraform. Azure RM. RM means resource manager. So now this particular block, entire block, is responsible for creating resource group. So how will it know that it should create a resource group? It's because of this. So you should remember all this. If you don't remember, that's fine. You can get that from official Terraform documentation. Or there is one more way. I will show you this in a moment. Okay. And then finally, RG is our name to identify this entire block. So let's say you want to create 10 resources, then you should create 10 such blocks. For each block, you will give a name. That name is this. So RG is the name that we have given to this block, entire block. Okay. Now, what is the name of the resource group that you want to create in Azure? Remember yesterday we gave a name, right? Let me show you this. For example, if I had to create it manually, how do I do it? I go to resource group, I click on create, and we provide a name here, right? So this name, for example, this name is to be provided here. So this is a keyword. This is a Terraform specific type of the resource. We are going to create resource group. So obviously we need to give resource group. And this is the identifier for this block. And this is the name of the resource group in Azure. So when I run this script, a resource group will be created in Azure with this name, my Terraform resource group. Okay. So this is a location. Basically, while creating resource group, we are telling Azure that use East US as the region. Remember, we are discussing, right? In the portal, it says region. So let me do Alt tab. This is region. Everywhere, almost everywhere, you will see region. But unfortunately, in the code, we need to use location. So don't get confused, both are same. Okay. And some tags. This is optional. You don't need to provide tags. But if you want to provide, you can do that. So this is a block type. This is a label. So for resource group, the label is Azure RM resource group. This is our custom label. So basically it's a label given to this entire block. So it's a key value pair. So name is the key and this particular thing is a value. One more key value pair. So in IAC, we will provide key value pairs. Whether it is Terraform, Bicep, or ARM templates, everywhere it is key value pairs. So here it is an object. So tags is an object and environment equal to this is again a key value pair. Okay, all right. So let's now work on creating a resource group. Okay, all right.
Praveen, to which resource, to which subscription we have created that resource group?
Very good. I'll come to that. The very good question, right? So before that, I need to do some additional things. I will explain those things. I've closed everything. Before we start working on Terraform, we will first in real time, right? How do we manage folder structure? This is also important, right? Let's say you are working in multiple projects. Probably you will create a folder called projects. And one of the projects that you're working Azure DevOps. Here my project is Azure DevOps, but you will be having your own project. And inside this, a DevOps engineer would be working on multiple things, right? One is infra. So we will have to create infra folder which contains Terraform, Bicep, ARM templates, everything. And then later in this course, we'll also learn pipelines. So pipelines would be another folder, and you might also have another folder called SRC. So SRC is a source code of application. It could be .NET, Python, PHP, blah, blah, blah. So these three are common top folders in every project. Of course, you will be responsible for only these two folders. Okay. So now we'll be learning in this course, we'll be learning multiple technologies, right? So we'll say Terraform IAC. Later, we are going to use ARM as well, right? ARM IAC. We'll also learn Bicep IAC. This is just naming convention that I am recommending personally. You don't need to follow this, okay? Because in any project, mostly you will be using only one of these technologies. So today we are working with Terraform, right? So yeah, this is how we'll be working with Terraform. So now I need to create a file called main.terraform. So in this folder, we are going to have all the Terraform configuration files whose extension is TF. So now how do I create them? First, let me open Visual Studio Code. The shortcut is code for opening Visual Studio Code. I opened it, open a folder, click on open a folder. Projects, infra, Terraform IAC. All right, so there are no files. So let's go and create a file. Main.tf must be the name. TF. Okay. So now as soon as I enter TF, it says marketplace has extensions that can help with TF files. So there is something called as Visual Studio Code Marketplace. Yes, I want to improve the productivity. Okay, so automatically this tab opened. There are tabs in the left hand side. So this is the extensions tab and TF has been searched here. So we can install HashiCorp Terraform extension. It helps us in syntax highlighting and auto completion. We don't have to type everything from the scratch. There are tools like this, extensions like this, which will automatically create, automatically help us in quickly writing the code. There is a question, are you doing this in Azure VM? Yes, I am doing this in Azure VM, but you guys can do that in your local machine. The reason why I am using Azure VM is I want to start from the beginning. So because my personal machine, I already have all this installed. So I want to show it from the beginning to you guys. That's why I have created a Azure virtual machine. Okay, and I'm doing everything from the beginning. But otherwise, we can do it in any machine. You don't need to create a Azure virtual machine as such. Okay, so I installed the first extension, and yeah, this is not required, and you can close it. But as a good practice, it's always recommended to restart Visual Studio Code as soon as you install any extension like this. So I would like to restart it. So what the other way to open this file is click here in the path, type command, type cmd, press enter, and here type code space dot. Dot means current folder. So open Visual Studio Code and open the current folder in Visual Studio Code. That's what dot means. Okay, so now we are good here. So the next thing is we need to write the code that we have seen in our PowerPoint, right? Resource, you see, I just press R. Automatically a block is being shown here. So click on this arrow mark. It is giving some description. Blah, blah, blah. You can read this. So now I am going to click on this, and it is giving me some default things, right? So what do we want? We want some name, right? We want to create a resource group here. So now I don't remember the exact syntax. So what I can do is go to Google first, create Terraform resource group. So many people ask me, do I need to learn coding? The answer is yes and no. So you don't need to worry. Many people are worried about syntax, logic, coding, blah, blah, blah. Right? It's very simple. You don't have to worry about anything. Many things are available already for you. So you can provide any name here. This is up to us. But this one must be copied from official documentation. If you remember, that's fine. But otherwise, you should get it from official documentation. Now I pressed control space in my keyboard, which opens up all the properties inside this. So I don't have to remember the syntax, right? So we know name and location are there for every resource. So name equal to something. I'm going to provide a name. TF. Okay, we are following some naming convention, right? AZ devops hyphen, or I think I will use some other name. My Terraform resource group. So naming convention is not proper here. LO, as soon as I type LO, it has shown the autocomplete. Now press tab. And then location equal to, you can just say east to west. That's it. So we're done with resource group. These two are mandatory things for resource group. We don't need to provide tags. That's optional, but we'll come back to that in a moment. We're done. This is a basic Terraform file, Terraform configuration file, which can create a resource group inside Azure. Okay, so now let me log into Azure in the portal. So you see, I am the owner. When I log in, it is asking me username password, which is obvious. Everybody understands it, right? So now what are we doing? We are programmatically working with Azure, right? So a human, if they want to log into Azure, I mean, if they want to access Azure, they need to log in. They need to submit username password, right? But here, Visual Studio Code is running some code, right? So it also need to authenticate itself. I might have 10 Azure accounts. I might be associated with multiple subscriptions. Where are we providing all this? That was the question somebody was asking, right? Yes, absolutely. All that authentication information must be given to Terraform. Then only it can work. So how do you authenticate? So for that, we need to write some commands. Remember, we installed Azure CLI. Azure CLI is a prerequisite for Terraform, right? So go to terminal, click on new terminal. So within Visual Studio Code, command prompt is also integrated. Generally, we write commands in command prompt, right? So we don't need this anymore because Visual Studio Code has integrated Terraform, integrated command prompt. Basically, this command prompt is PowerShell. So now I can run this command. You see, it is working similarly to how it worked in command prompt. You can clear the console. So now what we need to do is we need to log into Azure, right? For that, we need to type this. This is not Terraform command. This is Azure CLI command. In order to get this work, you need to have Azure CLI installed, which we have already done, right? So now let me press enter. As soon as I press enter, it opens up a browser and it will ask us credentials. I just logged in some time back with this account. So this saying that it's already signed in, but that's fine. Click on this and observe the URL. So it went to microsoftonline.com, which is valid. As soon as I click username, it came back to localhost. That means we are logged in successfully from our terminal. It takes some time. Yeah. Now you see, what did it do? It pulled up all my subscription. Praveen 2K is the person who has logged in, and it did some validation. It pulled many tenants. I'm having access to so many tenants. So now it doesn't understand which tenant it should use. Okay. For that, we can run this command explicitly. Easy login -- tenant ID. Okay, but that's one thing that we can do. It tried to validate subscriptions in all tenants. None of, I mean, though I have 10, 12 different tenants, all of them do not have subscriptions associated with it. So it automatically found one of the directories, one of the tenants, which has subscriptions, and it pulled those subscriptions as well. Okay, now I have two subscriptions. So which one to use? This is disabled. You see, the state is disabled. We should not use it. And this is enabled. Okay, so we need to use this subscription. So for that, we need to run another command called set account. I don't remember the syntax, so obviously AZ CLI set subscription. It's the same thing, exact thing that you guys can also do. You see, here it is the command, but let me click on this. Yeah, AZ account set subscription -- subscription and subscription name. Let me copy this, paste it here, and we need to provide the copy the name from here. Oops, sorry. That's it, and press enter. Okay, now clear the screen. Now we are logged in, authenticated this particular Visual Studio Code. I mean this particular profile in the OS. So next time tomorrow when you come here, you don't need to log in again, unless you want to use different user. Then only you should do login again. Otherwise, it will be cached in this local machine somewhere in temporary files. So now we can start working with Terraform. Okay. So now, before that, what we need to do is here we mentioned we logged into Azure account by using Azure CLI command. But here there are some additional things that we need to specify. We just mentioned that we need to create a resource group, but we did not tell Terraform whether we need to work with Azure or AWS or GCP. All that is not provided here, right? So that's where providers must be configured. Right? So this is one time. So we need to configure required providers. So which cloud we are working with? We are working with Azure RM. So Azure, right? Azure RM is the name of the provider. And so basically, Terraform will have separate special software for each cloud. So we did not download that. Okay. So this commands will download that automatically for us. So for that, we need to specify source. So we need to specify that it is Azure RM, and obviously we also need to specify versions. The latest version that I remember is, I think 2.9 or 3.1 is also released, I guess, but I'm not pretty sure. I think 2.90 is the latest version that I remember. It could be anything. So if you don't remember the exact, if you don't know the exact latest version name, then what you can say is you can just say version equal to. This is important. Version equal to anything which is greater than or equal to 2.90 or beyond that. Save it. Always, many people come back to me that something is not working. So always you should save the file. So once this is done, we also need to say that provider Azure RM. For now, this will be empty feature. So just leave this empty. We will not use this. So whenever you make any changes, right, this turns into white color. That means it is unsaved. So you always save the files. I saved it. So now we are good to go. So how do we run commands? How do we run this file? By running a command called Terraform apply. But this is the first time we are working, right? So which command we should use? We should use Terraform init. But before running that command, what I would like to do is I would like to show you something. Let me make some room here. Let me dock it. And yeah. So in the left hand side, what do we have? We have only main.tf. So please pay attention in the left hand side while I'm running this command. Okay. I'm typing init. I'm pressing enter in a moment. So you guys please pay attention in the left hand side and see what happens there. I hit enter. There is some error, guys. Sorry. Okay. So source, there is a typo here. So now there is a dot here. So we need to save it. Don't forget to save that. Please save it and then come back here and run the command again. I clear the screen. So you don't need to type the command again. Just press up arrow.
Ravi, how are you saving it?
Sorry.
How are you saving it?
Control yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Terraform init. Press enter again. Please pay attention in the left hand side, guys. I'm hitting enter now. So you see, it has downloaded something. Providers. So that it downloaded from registry.terraform.io. So basically, this is the place where all the softwares, they call it as modules. Azure RM 2.95. So anything beyond 2.95, they download 2.95. Windows, and you see Azure RM. This is the software specific to Azure. So if it is AWS, it would have downloaded something else. Okay, earlier we downloaded only terraform.exe, but this is specific to Azure. So this understands how to make calls to Azure internally. So that's why initializing Terraform is very, very important. Obviously, otherwise it won't work, right? Yeah.
So Praveen, one question I just might have missed something. So you created the main.tf. Let's say I have multiple tf files in this folder. So is
Yeah,
it possible?
I mean, even if you have hundreds of files in this, you just need to init the init once. Okay, but if you change the folder structure, for example, later you do this modules. You don't want to write everything in one main.tf. Probably you will write modules. You will write one more tf here. Sorry. Probably you will write one more something which is similar to this. Copy and paste. And again, you should call init. That's important. So any changes to folder structure, you should call init for each folder structure change. But if you're adding more files, then it's not required. If you're making changes to the existing file, it's not required.
That main.tf is the important name, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so it's like a main module in the programming concept, like it's a main function.
Yeah.
To initialize, right? That is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let me clear the screen again. So what's the next thing, guys? Terraform plan.
Praveen, a quick one here. In the same main file, can we add more softwares here? Like in this case, you have added Azure Terraform, right? Which has downloaded this Terraform file, .exe file. So, do we have? I mean, can we download any other software like a .NET?
No, why no? Why would it be another second? No. See, this is Terraform, right? You are working with Terraform. You need some additional dependencies to execute the commands. So you cannot download other softwares from here. No. All right. So next thing is Terraform plan. I hit enter. You see in the back, in the left hand side, there are some additional files. You see Terraform state. This is very, very important. Two files got created. I mean, Terraform state got created and a log file is also created. So Terraform state is very, very important. We will have a separate discussion on this, not today. So Terraform plan, now it connected to Azure. It took some time, right? It connected to Azure, and then you see, let's create. That means one resource to add to Azure. Nothing is getting changed, nothing is getting destroyed. So Terraform plan will connect to Azure. It downloads the current state of Azure and it saves that into state file. Okay, and then it compares our code. What are we having in our code? We are having a resource called resource group. This resource group doesn't exist in that particular subscription, so automatically it is telling us that we are going to create one new resource. That's what plan will tell us. Okay, so let's run Terraform apply command. This will again run the plan command, and because of that, you see the Terraform state files again. It will connect to Azure and it will compare our code with Azure resources and tells us the differences here. Yeah, so it is telling us apply command is also giving us the same information. Want to add? Yes, we know, right? We have written the code and we know that there is one resource that is getting created, but it is asking us our permission. Do you want to go ahead? Yes. Now it will create Azure resource group inside our subscription. It should be quick. See, it's done. One resource got added. Now let me go back to Azure resource group. We should see my Terraform blah blah blah. It is not shown here. Don't worry. Click on refresh. Sometimes it comes from cache. Or I'm not. Yeah, it took a lot of time. I think at least 5 times I clicked on refresh. Okay, so we can add more resources to this. But now let me quickly do one small change. So here we've added these two, right? So let me add one more. Let me make a change. I'm not adding a new resource, but I'm adding tags. So you see, scroll down and hit enter. It will add key and value. So basically, these tags so far will not work, right? So basically, this particular resource belongs to an environment. Environment. It could be anything, any key value pair. This could be anything. So I want to maintain a tag called environment for every resource that I am working with. So I made a change to existing resource now. Okay. Now let's see. save it. I saved it. Control S. I pressed. Now Terraform. I'm directly running Terraform apply, guys, because anyways it shows us the plan. So Terraform apply. I hit enter. So earlier it was showing 1 to add, right? Now let's see what happens. So one problem with working with this IAC is we'll have to wait for at least a couple of minutes each time you make changes. So you see 1 to change, and it is giving us information on what is changing in yellow color. In place update. A resource called resource group is getting changed. So the idea of this resource group is this. Yeah, this is what we wanted. Yes. So press type S and it will update tags here. So tags can be seen. So in the overview blade for this resource group, currently there are no tags. It says click here to add tags. Okay, so sometimes this won't get applied. Let's see. Yeah, it is done. So though it says it is done, sometimes no, do not show it here.
So on the left hand side, there is the tags, right? Access under IAM.
Yeah, you can, both are same. You can click on this, you can go there. Environment development is what we have added, right? So environment development is what we have added. So now you can search, you can do a search, all that can are possible with this tags. It's a good practice that you add tags. You can say environment, you can say department, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's how you make changes to existing resource. If I've added more resources here, it would have shown all that here. Okay, so I already have all the code related to virtual machine. Probably we will do that tomorrow. Okay, all right. I think I'm done, guys. I see some questions. Let me open the chat window.
Praveen, just one question for in that, can we add the resources with a single TF file in different providers like Azure and
I work only on Azure, guys. I did not work on AWS or GCP. I'm not pretty sure about that.
Yeah, Praveen, I have a question here.
So one
Suppose,
second, can I first look at the questions because I can
yes,
see many questions in the chat window. I'll answer the questions in a moment. So Sammy asked virtual machine means Azure. Yeah, real time. I think we discussed. Can you show the Rakesh is asking? Can you show the environment variable setup again? Okay.
it's fine. It's fine now. It's fine now.
Okay, good. Timari asking in Azure, does VM is the first thing to create and deploy after creating account? So Timari, I think we discussed yesterday, right? It depends on requirement. If the requirement is to work with Azure VMs, then obviously you need to create VM. There is no rule. You can create any resource depending on the requirements. But here I have divided. No, I am showing you VM with Terraform. Because Terraform is most important. So started with, guys, can you please go on mute?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Please go ahead. Please go on mute. There is some background noise. So VMs. Basically, I divided VM these things, right? Terraform. I'm explaining that using Terraform. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So VMs we are creating with Terraform. Later, we will create some other services, basically PaaS services using Bicep, and we will also learn serverless services using ARM templates. So there is no rule that you should only create virtual machine first. No. So if your requirement is to create story accounts, you will create story account first. It's all about requirements. I hope I answered your question, Timaradi. If not, let me know. So our third says,
Yes.
what about validate? Yeah, we discussed about validate. Is it necessary to name each block as RG out of 10? No, each block will have its own name. I started with RG. So you can provide whatever name you want. And for every other resource that we will create tomorrow, we will provide different name. I hope Sami answered your question. If not, let me know. Sai Kiran says, can you explain once again? I'm not sure where did you miss. If you have a network issue. So recording will be shared, Sai Kiran. Sai Kiran, who is your point of contact? Is it me or someone? Okay, you can get in touch with your point of contact. And author says, is code created for Azure public compatible Stack Hub? We have Stack on-prem and also on public Azure. Yeah, I think I have not worked on Azure Stack, so probably I'm not sure, but yeah, code is definitely compatible across all, right? Because it's Azure, so it should work in Azure Stack as well. So you're doing all this in Azure VM? Yes, I'm doing all this in VM only. Yeah. So provided version, Arthur, I provided the version as well. So if there is another further question, let me know. So Sammy is asking, IP seems to be local. No, it's not local. Local VM starts with 10, right? 10 or 120 or something. So this is public VM. You can ping if you want. If you want to ping, you can ping that from your machine. You will see a response. And Rakesh is asking, I have no credit card. How to create account? You can use debit card, but yesterday, right, many people were chatting. There are problems with debit card, so you need to get in touch with the customer sales guys. There's one question from Arthur. In a situation where you have multiple engineers managing the environment, okay, how do you keep track of state file? I noticed it's created on my laptop, right? Very good question. This is important question. We'll talk about this tomorrow because we did not discuss about state yet. Okay, so if you remember, this is very, very important, guys. If you remember and if you observed, when we are working, a state file got created, right? So this is okay if it is one person, but what if a team, when team is working? So this is not good, right? Every person will have their own state and things will go wrong immediately. So what we can do is state can be maintained in an external location as well. So state can be maintained in a service called storage account. So we will not work with storage account yet, right? We will later see how to maintain state externally, which is a best practice that we should follow in real time. So later we are going to integrate this Terraform with DevOps pipelines. In that case, there is no local for DevOps pipelines. In that case, we will see how to work with Azure storage as an external mechanism of storing state. For now, don't worry about state. Arthur, I will take this up when we are doing Terraform with Azure DevOps. There we will create storage account and we will maintain Terraform state inside storage account. So please park this for some time. And then Vijay is asking, when we write code, it shows some colors. Yeah, the colors means it's syntax highlighting, Vijay, nothing great there. Just that syntax highlighting. For example, this is a keyword. These are key value pairs. These are the strings. That's it. Okay. And Chaudhary is asking, can you please explain again why we have given Terraform version in code? Blah blah. Basically, Terraform will be adding a lot of features, right? That's why we need to give versions. For every new software, they will be giving some versions. So that's why version is required. Timar is asking, what certification? It's AZ 400. What is Azure Active Directory? We will not discuss about that yet. Active Directory is nothing but a location where all the user information and rest of the information is stored. Now, I think I answered every question. If not, let me know. If there are any additional questions, yeah, please free to ask it now. Please go ahead, guys. Someone was talking, I stopped them in the middle. Please go ahead now.
Praveen, in the code, we have used two blocks. One is Terraform required provider, and another one is just provider. So, is this the same one or in the code? Yeah.
This is provider, no, it is different. If you want any specific RM features, then you will be using that. But generally, we don't do that. It will be empty.
But above, Praveen, above we have given Terraform version, right? This is what I've been thinking. We already had a Terraform in our machine, but why we are giving again a version again here?
The Terraform is used for multiple clouds, right? AWS, Azure, GCP. So it needs to download a specific software. For that, we need to provide this provider.
Yeah, but we already downloaded one, right?
No, that is not Azure related. It's a common generic one.
Okay.
These are specific ones. So why should we download everything?
But why we have updated again the path variables then if that version
Path
is
variable
not
is required for command prompt. See here, command prompt should also know where is Terraform installed, right? Terraform in general, when you install any software, right? So this is Windows specific guys thing. You should know these basics. So whenever you install any software, right, what happens is the program, it will install that in program files, but it's not mandatory to store all the softwares in program files. It's up to us. Some softwares can be installed anywhere, but how will
yeah.
command prompt know that the software in so and so location? That's why we need to set path.
Yes, I get that. But here, as we already got a Terraform, we are again downloading the compatible version, right, Praveen? So this Visual Studio Code, it doesn't do compatibility. I mean, the path variables. Downloading again here. You said the one which we downloaded is a general one, and we have we have updated the path file. But whereas in this code, you're downloading again, and this doesn't automatically update the path variable instead of downloading Terraform separately. Does this code do all that stuff, or we need to do both?
Sure what is your question. See, you are combining multiple questions. You are getting confused. Can you take some time, think about it, and again come back, rephrase your question, and make it very simple.
Okay.
So there are two things, guys. One is generic Terraform, which we have to download manually for the very first time. That's number one. So now it's on our control, right? We have played in some manual, my specific folder, some folder, some random folder. I place this random folder in. I place this Terraform software in the random folder. So command prompt will not know about this. That's the reason why we have set path.
Yeah, this is what I'm asking, Praveen. This is what actually I get it now. So
Okay, yeah. I thought I explained that multiple times, so I was not sure which. Yeah, all right, you are clear now. Good.
now this is what so I now get it. We need to download the generic Terraform first, and then we need to work on the versions. Okay, this is
Good that you know. Others, I think some others were talking. I stopped in the middle. Please go ahead now. I'm sorry, who was that?
So this version 2.90 is Terraform related version or it's Azure version?
You tell me. What do you think?
So I thought like it is Azure.
Obviously, this is within Azure, so obviously it is Azure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Next question, please. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, we'll stop it here and quiz.
If we Praveen, if we skip this block provider Azure RM, it will work, right?
See, you should try all those guys. I should not ask all this. If you remove this, so you can try on it. You should do all this.
Because I just want to know because provider was already within the Terraform block, right? So we have used twice basically. So the
This one?
syntax is
This one you are asking?
yeah.
Okay. So generally we do all this. I never tried removing this,
Okay.
removing that. I think you should try all that.
Okay.
The
I
things.
thought I missed that particular wordings from me. Okay. It's fine for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Next question, please. Nothing. Okay. All right. So quiz. There are additional things, right? So let you just give me a second. Oops. One quick question, guys. When you are giving quiz, are you able to see the score immediately there?
After
Yes.
submitting the button, not immediately.
Vijay. Okay, Rakesh is Vijay. What is it?
Yeah, we're able to get the score.
You're able to see that, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the quiz is good. It's very simple today. I'm sharing it in a chat window. Oops. I'm not able to hit enter. Nothing is happening. Oops. I don't know what's happening. So I'm sharing it in WhatsApp group. Can you guys, someone share it to everyone?
Yeah, we can do it.
Sorry, there is some issue with this. I'm stopping my screen share for a moment. That is troubling me. Okay. My WhatsApp is also not working.
Praveen, just a question. I think I was not in the WhatsApp group. Can you add me?
Sorry, who's that?
This is Jagdish.
Yeah, I think you should talk to your point of contact, Jagdish. Please talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for that, because you guys
Okay,
are
no
from
issue.
different.
Okay.
Just talk to them. If they're okay, I'm happy to. And
Okay.
yeah, so I can see many other people who are from others, so should talk to them. Yeah, the link is shared, guys. Please start. I'm sending some messages to some people to know who is. Please respond, Satya. I shared the quiz. I think team has shared the quiz, so please start giving it. It's very simple. Anjanelu and Satya, please respond to my messages. I need to know who is your point of contact. Guys, feel free if you want to recommend any changes, right? If you don't like the way I'm teaching something, that's why, one of the question is to share feedback. So if you don't like something, you can mention that. so that I know I will change. It will help you and others as well. So today's quiz should be very simple, very easy. I am expecting everybody to score 10. We have 10 questions. I think we have 10 questions, 10 points. Yeah, so far I can see 3 responses. Very good. Average is 7.3. Yeah, so far 5 people have responded. Maximum is 9. Good.
Initially, I selected the correct answer, but later I selected wrong.
Hey guys, is it safe to run init commands? 1 second, guys. Is it safe to run init command multiple times? Okay. Answer is yes, actually. Okay, good.
Yeah, it is no. Basically, it just
Yeah, it is.
it's already initialized. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. So I think others, if you are getting late, please feel free to leave. But Anjaneyulu, Mr. Anjaneyulu and Satya, I think Satya is here. Anjaneyulu, please respond. If you don't respond, next session I will have to remove you. So please talk. Please either you talk or you respond the messages, please. And Mr. Venkateshwarlu, please share me who's your point of contact. You can respond, you can type on your talk here. So for 10 responses. I can see multiple people getting 9. At least 3 so far got 9. So Venkateshwarlu, I also need a response from you, please. Good. I think today I can see 8s, 9s. Very good. I know this is very simple, but you can try multiple times. There is no harm. So try multiple times, but next time when you are trying, you can research in internet if you don't know any an answer for that. Yeah, Venkateshwar, you can talk now. I can see you are unmuted. You can talk, please, if you want to talk. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm just asking regarding the whatever the power presentation you are showing. So whom I have to contact to get that?
I will be sharing this with your point of contact, Jagdish. All the recordings as well as the PowerPoint slides. I will not share the PowerPoint slides yet. I will be doing that. But recordings, I am already sharing them to those guys. So please ask them. So these slides, I will share them today.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Anjaneyulu, I'm still waiting for your response.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes, tell me, Mohammed.
Is there any notes regarding interview questions or important points from your side?
Yeah, I will be sharing those as well.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we will complete the Terraform. I will share you Terraform interview questions as well.
Okay.
And
Thank
the
you.
notes, right, that I was talking about PowerPoint. That was
Yeah. Yeah.
so I will share you. I did not share them yet. I will
Okay.
share. You
Yeah.
can get in touch with your point of contacts.
Okay.
Good guys.
Sorry.
At 6, 9, 5, 5 9. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Is there any placement assistance from your side for freshers?
As a fresher,
Yes, sir.
yeah, we can talk because we are still learning, right? So let's first learn and then we will talk about placement and all.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I don't see any response from Anjali yet. That's fine. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Yeah, bye, Praveen.
Bye bye.